Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Balancing Act. We're so glad you joined us. I'm Julie Moran.
And I'm Olga Villaverdi.
Today we go behind the mystery of a genetic disease known as Pompe disease.
That's right. We're dedicating our show to learn more about this neuromuscular disorder, which causes muscle weakness. Now, symptoms can vary widely from person to person.
We'll be talking to both a child and an adult who are suffering from it. Plus, we'll be speaking to the doctors who are helping to treat the disorder. And early diagnosis is critical for optimal patient outcomes.
So let's get started. The Balancing Act starts right now. Imagine living with random medical symptoms that just don't seem to add up, going from doctor to doctor without answers, and possibly even being misdiagnosed for years, and while precious time is being lost. Well, Dr. Barry Byrne, director of the University of Florida Powell Center, has seen this scenario played out all too often, and he's here this morning to raise awareness about a rare genetic disorder that fits this exact description. Dr. Byrne, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this rare disease and why it's misdiagnosed. What is it called?
Well, Pompe disease is one of the conditions that is due to abnormal storage of sugars in muscle and nerve tissues that affects the ability to walk, breathe properly, and can, in the younger children, really have a significant impact on heart function.
And what are the symptoms that one sees when the disease starts taking?
Well, first, patients may notice difficulty in walking. Sometimes in the older patients, the first symptoms are associated with difficulty breathing at night, which often leads to headaches during the day. And in the younger patients, the breathing problems are very significant and can lead to early hospitalization because of heart problems associated with Pompe.
And you're talking about symptoms that I can see why it could be a reason why it's misdiagnosed, because I can think of so many other diseases that fall into those symptoms.
There are many forms of muscular dystrophy and other glycogen storage diseases, but they have many overlapping characteristics that make it confusing to pick out which one is the exact cause.
If a doctor or even a patient has an idea of what could be happening, is there a specific blood test, a genetic test that can kind of pinpoint and say, this is what you have?
Sure, there are many specific tests now for muscle diseases that either test for enzyme activity in the case of Pompe, or now the advent of the Human Genome Project has allowed us to test the specific genes that are causative of this group of diseases. So it's very easy now to pinpoint exactly the cause of one of these problems that are often seem that look alike.
Now, you mentioned young patients, elderly patients. Do you see it more in one group than another, let's say more in men or women, or is it fair game?
No, men and women are equally affected. All ethnicities are affected. This is a disease in which both parents are carriers, and then a proportion of the children will have that same gene from each parent and then be affected with the condition.
All right, stay right there, doctor, because we do have a family that is going to be joining us in just a bit, a very special family, who has two wonderful children affected by Pompe disease. Their story coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back. We've been speaking with Dr. Barry Byrne, who specializes in rare genetic disorders like Pompe disease, and we're now joined by the Crowley family, who I know is going to inspire all of you. Welcome Donna, Maddie, and Matt Crowley. Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Donna, let me start with you. Tell me when your journey began with the Pompe disease.
Well, it all happened rather quickly. Maddie just had a lot of hair loss, and I quickly brought her to the pediatrician. They ran a lot of bloods on her, and her liver enzymes came back very elevated, which then led us to a liver specialist at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and our story really starts there.
And you really don't know what's going on. And then a few months later, Matt, your other daughter is diagnosed.
Correct.
Tell me what happened.
It was pretty stunning. I mean, I think we were still in the process of absorbing the impact of Maddie's diagnosis when we heard about Emma. And I think that it was, as a parent, we saw it as almost the perfect nightmare, even though we did our best to try to hide it from the girls.
Understood there. Doctor, is it usual to see young siblings in one family be diagnosed within months apart?
Well, when both parents are carriers of an abnormal gene, in the case for Pompe disease that Emma and Maddie have, they can inherit that copy of the gene from both parents. And so, yes, it can happen. It's not usual, but it can happen.
And Donna, when you heard Pompe disease, did you even know anything about it?
I had never heard of it before, no.
Shocking for you.
Very, yeah, a lot to take in.
Matt, you were talking about both girls. Again, you're both little girls. I have two girls. Emotionally, for you and your wife, difficult.
Yeah, it was very impactful. I mean, when Maddie was diagnosed at first, right, it was a few months before Emma, and just the entire impact to us as a family was quite strong, and our extended family and friends as well. And then when Emma was diagnosed a few months later, it just seemed like a perfect nightmare.
Maddie, how old were you, if I may ask, when you were diagnosed?
Like 9 or 10.
9 or 10. Was it hard on you? I mean, did you know something was not right?
I always thought something was wrong with me. Like, everybody has their own problems.
Of course.
But I just didn't understand. Like, I couldn't keep up with other people at school, and I always felt like I was different somehow, but I just didn't know how.
And I know when your sister was diagnosed, I've heard it was pretty hard on you to see her also.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to take it all on my own because I was comfortable with me having the problem, but with her having it too, it kind of hurt.
Doctor, how have you helped the girls manage with the disease?
Well, as you can tell, the family really takes this problem on as a team.
Yes, they do.
And even their son Carter, who's not affected by Pompe, really carries some of the burden, I think. And as a family, through that strength, they've really empowered the girls to take a very positive attitude. And that's very important with any chronic problem.
That's huge
And so
within
they're
a
really
family.
great examples in that way.
And Donna, amazing inspiration that you all have been, and amazing strength that you have had. It's really helped you get through this hurdle, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're a very strong unit. It was very difficult in the beginning, but once we got through the fog, we were able to be ready to fight and fight as a family.
And your daughters, I know, continue to create awareness, which I think is wonderful, not only because, you know, they are living with the disease, but they want to help people too. Matt, you must be so proud of them.
We were very proud. I mean, Maddie was involved in a Pennsylvania statewide Goodwill Ambassador for the MDA. Our older daughter, Emma, has also started an MDA club at her high school, and they're very engaged in different camps and fundraising events for different muscular dystrophies, including Pompe.
And Maddie, I got to tell you, your story is wonderful because you really have inspired me to know that nothing can stop you, correct? And I know you have a lot of dreams and a pretty bright future, I hear. You want to fill me in and tell our audience what you'd like to do one day?
I'm really into music and singing, so hopefully maybe someday I could be on Broadway or do something with music.
Wow. So if you were on Broadway, the lights are on, the mic is yours, what would you sing?
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom, oh, my favorite. Well, if you ever are, and I know you're going to be, promise you'll call me. I will take Julie, and we'll be there front and center with your family.
Okay.
And doctor, you're invited as well. Thank you so much. Thank you for creating this awareness. God bless all of you, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
And of course, if you'd like to learn more about Pompe disease, the research, what's being done, treatments, just go to our website, thebalancingact.com. That's thebalancingact.com. Also, we're on Facebook and Twitter. Join us there. Stay tuned because part 2 of this very special mini-series is coming right up, so stay right there. Before the break, we started a very informative and inspirational discussion about a rare neuromuscular disorder called Pompe disease with Dr. Barry Byrne and one of his very special patient families. And now we're joined by 3 adult Pompe patients who have some very compelling stories of their own. Allison Kwiatkowski, Jenny Wilder, and Brian White. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Allison, I want to start with you. I learned a lot with the doctor and the families in terms of how early detection is really important, early diagnosis. So tell me how you came to know you had Pompe disease.
It took a long time for me.
It did?
Yes. I started, when I was 2 years old, we discovered that I have elevated liver enzymes. But there were no other symptoms at the time, so my doctor just had me monitor it, basically.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I reached my early 20s that I actually started having more severe symptoms.
20s?
Yes.
Symptoms like?
Difficulty breathing, especially during sleep. And actually, I lost some weight, and my doctor thought that maybe it was anxiety. She actually checked me into the hospital under suspicion of anorexia.
Really?
Right.
And no diagnosis of Pompe disease?
No.
Almost 20 years later?
Yes.
Jenny, what about you? Did it take that long for you?
It took a long time. Actually, I developed symptoms back in the 1990s, and through different muscle biopsies and trying to figure out what it was, a misdiagnosis. I was misdiagnosed with anything and everything, on every kind of medicine that you can think of. Finally diagnosed by one doctor at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, and that was before there was any kind of options out there for me. So I was told that there was nothing available at the time.
Frustrating?
Very frustrating. Very, very, very disheartening, because you know something's wrong, but you're not quite sure what to do with it. So.
And no one can lead you in any kind of direction?
No one could at the time.
Brian, did it take that long for you?
I had a very similar situation. I was 35 years old, normal guy, nothing different. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I started falling asleep. My computer, driving the car, in the driveway, watching my kids play. And
you know that's not like you.
Yeah, that was not normal. So went through a series of doctors, pulmonologists, several neurologists. Took about 3 years to finally, multiple biopsies, to finally figure out what it was.
And would you do your own kind of research to see if you could find out something?
Yeah, you have to be your own advocate. And I think, frankly, after about 2 years, my wife and I knew it was Pompe disease. A year before diagnosis, we had pretty much figured it out ourselves, even before the...
But still no concrete answer.
No, not at all.
All right, I know you guys are doing a lot better, and I want to hear more about your life and how this has not even stopped you from doing what you want to do with your future. So stay with us, because coming up after the break, we're going to find out how they're doing and what advice they have for viewers out there who may know someone with these symptoms, or maybe know someone with Pompe disease. So stay right there. Welcome back, everyone. We're in the middle of a special mini-series on the rare and often misdiagnosed neuromuscular disorder known as Pompe disease. I'm back with 3 very special guests, all of whom were eventually diagnosed with Pompe disease, and all 3 felt it was important to help spread awareness about this condition. Brian, let me start with you. You are married, 2 boys, obviously very active boys. You work full-time for the federal government. How has having Pompe disease, has it affected your life?
It has, significantly. On a positive side, I can still work. I can get out there, earn the money that I need to for my family, which is good. On the negative side, physically, it's hurt me. It's hard to breathe, and it's hard to do anything physical, get around, go to the mall, has become a stress. So
you pace yourself?
You do, and you kind of come at things a little differently. You go to the beach, you don't go in the water, you go there still. So you participate in everything, but you got to kind of come up with a different way to do it.
But you don't let it stop you?
Not at all, no, definitely.
And I like that. Jenny, let me talk with you now. When you were diagnosed, and it obviously took a long time for your diagnosis to come through, at the time there weren't really many options for you.
Correct.
How did you deal with that, and how has your life changed since you have found other avenues?
I was teaching. I'm a retired educator.
Okay.
And I think the big part was, I know to watch diet, exercise, and I kept going. I think my attitude was the big part of it. Being around children naturally keep you upbeat. And no matter what, I was with them. I might be lagging behind them in some way, but we kept up, and they were very gracious about keeping up with me. But I think that was a biggie, and I think that with the options that are available today and paying attention to my body is what tells me. And when I retired, I still work in the yard, do photography. I mean, I have to pace myself also. I learned to compensate. But I think the attitude is the key. I think that's the big key for me.
And another key for you, Allison, has been your diet and exercise. I know you've changed it a lot. Tell me what you do.
Right. So right now I follow a high protein and low carb diet, which has helped, and I exercise every day. I rotate between Zumba classes.
I love Zumba.
Zumba's amazing.
Do you move a lot with Zumba?
Oh yeah, of course. I do some weight training, and I have a home exercise program that a physical therapist helped me develop.
And I know something else that's helped you has been the helping hand of Dr. Byrne. I know he's been impactful for you. Can you share that?
Yes, Dr. Byrne has been really amazing with caring for his patients, including me, and he's also introduced me to other people in the Pompe community, like these people, and it's really been great knowing that I'm not alone on the journey.
And Jenny, that is important to know that you're not alone, isn't it?
It's very important because when I first was diagnosed, there was nobody. They knew of nobody with my condition. So it is, I think the seminars, the meetings are very helpful. Meeting people that have the same condition is helpful, and we kind of get ideas from each other, so I think that's great, and support.
And Brian, not only just the support, but the awareness that we're creating this morning, because I'll be honest, before you came, I had not heard of this.
Right.
So for me, it's been an eye-opening experience, and I think that's key.
No question. And I think what we've all learned too is the most important thing is to be your own advocate. We've gone through this process, been kind of bounced around through the medical system, and you got to keep pushing. You got to be advocating for yourself 100% really to get what you need.
And from what I've gathered, to get what you need and to get the answers you need, right? Mm-hmm. Jenny?
Yes. I think education is the key, and I think because of what I know about it and what I've studied and what I've been through, when I hear other people talk, and I do know someone that's going through a similar situation,
Really?
symptoms sound very similar, and I have suggested a simple blood test. Just a simple blood test will tell you, and I
Has
think
she
that's
done it?
important. Not yet.
Not yet. But again, the
I
message
keep pushing.
is so
I keep
clear. A
pushing.
simple blood test that
Yes.
can really just give you the answers to a mystery that you don't even know.
Yes.
Correct, Allison?
Right.
Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. If there's anything else in the future to share with us, please come back. And I wish you all a lot of luck. Thank you so much. God bless you. And if you're out there and Pompe disease sounds like something that you'd like more resources and information, just head straight to the website, thebalancingact.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Again, the website, thebalancingact.com.
So much good information on today's show, and be sure to check out our website, thebalancingact.com, as well. Lots there for you.
And don't forget about Facebook and Twitter. Look us up there, and we'll see you again soon. And remember to find your balance.
So long, everybody.